There's no doubt that yesterday's game is a bitter pill to swallow if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. But the knee jerk reaction, the overreaction, desperation levels of extreme and calling for folks' heads, it's getting a little nuts. We're going to talk about that and a lot more from yesterday. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network begins now. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate you all for all the support here at the OBR, whether it's at the OBR.com for all the fantastic written content from our incredible group of writers, or, of course, the support here for the OBR streaming network beginning nightly, 6 p.m. Eastern with Browns 3D. You will have the Gang of Three coming up at 7. Keith Smith, of course, Lane Atkins, and of course, the man, the myth, the CEO, Mr. Barry McBride. Plenty of thoughts on yesterday's game, probably a little bit deeper as well when you have Lane in there. So make sure you guys all stick around. Make sure, of course, that you are subscribed to the OBR on YouTube. And of course, you're subscribed to the OBR over on Twitch. Now, yesterday's game, which unfortunately 21-17 loss for your Cleveland Browns. I start with this. When everyone spent months when the initial schedule was released, talking about just how brutal the Cleveland Browns' first 6 games were. Many people saying, 0-6, 2-4, 1-5. Were pretty much the predictions for the Browns' first 6 games. Currently, the Browns sit here 1-4. That is your record. You wear it. Certainly, a case could be made for week 1 against the Bengals. Most certainly, a case could be made for yesterday against the Minnesota Vikings. Week 1, special teams, couple of kicks could have made a difference. Yesterday, I think yesterday is where I think we're having an issue as to why the Cleveland Browns did not walk out of London with a W. We'll begin with Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel's start yesterday, accounting into everything, 3rd-round pick, first career start in London. I'm not going to sit here and say that, Dillon Gabriel was fantastic yesterday. He is the franchise quarterback. That's it. There's no more questions. It's Dillon Gabriel's show. The Browns are going to use those 2 first-round picks in April somewhere else. I'm going to say that because it's just simply not true. There's things you ask of young quarterbacks. Certainly a rookie quarterback. Certainly a rookie quarterback in his first career start in the NFL. No turnovers. And we're not going to put the game on you. So hopefully you don't end up being responsible for losing the game. Now, there were certainly some throws left on the field. There's no question. An overthrow to Jerry Jeudy, an underthrow to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy still should have caught that ball on the underthrow, though. The one that was reviewed. That's on Jerry Jeudy. For the first time in all of 2025, we've kind of gotten the David Njoku game that we kind of expect from David Njoku. First pass play early in the game, which was the screen to Njoku, which, basically, faked a jet sweep, faked an outside run, turned around and, hit Njoku on the screen, is something that Dillon Gabriel is going to do. You're not going to run that play with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco just does not have the quickness or the athleticism in this day and age to do everything that was going on in that play to make it successful. Again, Dylan did not turn the ball over. And I think there's people trying to give everyone, coaching wise, a hard time for not giving Dylan Gabriel the opportunity to go maybe clinch the win in the fourth quarter. I understand your thought process, but the fact that the Browns were leading in the fourth quarter 17-14, certainly in part was because of Dylan Gabriel's play. Certainly other factors factored in as well. So you get to that situation late in the game, and now you have Dylan Gabriel feeling pretty good about himself, feeling like he held his own, feeling like he led his team. Now you get to that point late in the game, and if you're going to try to put the game on Dylan Gabriel, which in a week or two certainly could be the case, but I don't think that's the case the way most coaches would have handled that scenario yesterday. Is it timid coaching? Yeah, but it's a first-time rookie starter. You don't want it to blow up in the kid's face in the last few minutes of the game. In a game where he held his own. Spectacular? No. Terrible? Not even close. Middle of the road? A little bit better than middle of the road? Yeah. That's what Dylan Gabriel gave you yesterday, which is certainly better than anything Joe Flacco's given you to this point this season. You got the best rushing game of the entire season. Quinshon Judkins over 100 yards pretty well. Over 100. You're having an issue right now at the wide receiver position. And as much as everybody would like to say, well, I don't understand why they weren't more aggressive and, this wide receiver unit right now just cannot be counted on. It's a terrible thing to say, but it's the actual fact. Jerry Jeudy, what he did last year was absolutely phenomenal, taking into account the revolving door at the quarterback position. But you can't get really a comfort level for much out of Jerry Jeudy right now. And it's absolutely, absolutely hampering this offense. And, the Browns need somebody to go out there and at least, you know, kind of look like a wide receiver one. That's kind of what Jerry Jeudy was doing last year. They're certainly not getting that this year. But you can't just put the game on the rookie quarterback in his first start in that situation. Because if he throws a pick, that is damning. It's just a confidence crusher. Everybody seems to be going back to the final Cleveland Browns drive. Only 11 seconds went off the clock. Well, when the opposition has timeouts, how much time do you expect to actually go off the clock? Ran it on first down, got stuffed. Minnesota called timeout. Ran it on second down, got stuffed. Minnesota called timeout. Third and 11. Trips to the left. Dylan Gabriel on a quick read, which was probably a flood left, which meant you had a deep route. You had a 7 route, and then you probably had more of a flat out. Dylan Gabriel got the snap, looked hard to the left, saw there was nothing there, and sailed the ball out of bounds. It didn't matter if Cleveland ran the ball there. If Cleveland ran the ball there and did not get 11 yards, Minnesota simply would have taken their third timeout. So running the ball on that third and 11 meant absolutely nothing. And just to keep that in perspective, Minnesota didn't use their final timeout till they iced the Hail Mary. And then, if you remember, the Browns came back and changed the play. So the Browns On 4th and 11, punt, and Baraquez does a fantastic job. Rex Sunahara, instead of just tapping the ball back into the playing field. And I'll be honest, by the time he had control, and I wasn't, yeah, I'm not totally positive of the role, but it certainly seemed like Sunahara had control of the ball well before his foot hit the end zone line. But either way, the ball's put at the 20-yard line. Minnesota has one timeout, 80 yards to go, with Carson Wentz behind center, with the offensive line being 4/5 reserve players. They were missing 4 starters from their offensive line for that final drive. Their starting running back was not there. Greg Newsome said it today. It's on us. So this number one defense in all the NFL, which gave a boatload of points to the Baltimore Ravens, gave up a boatload of points to the Detroit Lions. I think the defense is great. But sometimes let's not, peruse statistics and try to have it tell the whole tale. This defense is good. It's not elite. It's not the best in the NFL. 80 yards to go. Carson Wentz behind center. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen are reserves. And the Minnesota Vikings sliced and diced the Browns. Didn't even run a third down play. Denzel Ward put it on himself. I said it yesterday on the postgame show with Pete. The commentary, oh, well, he dared him to make the perfect throw. Well, what the hell is daring him going to do? How about you defend the possibility he could have made the perfect throw? It was cover 2. He absolutely needed to get more depth. The way you play that on what's going to be an end zone shot throw late in the game is Ward's job is to do everything he can in cover 2 to hopefully get a hand on that ball. And the safety is supposed to come over and absolutely annihilate the receiver if Ward was not able to get a finger on the ball. The safety, it was a tough get. It was a really tough get for Hickman. Wasn't going to get there. But for Denzel Ward, the whole point of cover 2 is to keep everything in front of you. That's why you have the safety over the top. So he needed to force Carson Wentz to not throw that ball. And if Denzel Ward played that and replayed it, rather, my guess is we're talking about a Denzel Ward interception here today. We're not talking about Jordan Addison game-winning touchdown pass. Denzel admitted it. Put himself out there. But yet somehow we're going to hear about what the offense didn't do with a rookie quarterback and 0 wide receivers. We're going to put it on the head coach, apparently, that this defense that everybody wants to tell me is the best defense in the NFL couldn't stop Carson Wentz, 4 reserve offensive linemen, and no Aaron Jones from going 80 yards. Up until the Jordan Addison touchdown yesterday, I actually felt pretty good about everything. This team is loaded with young talent. Maybe not the best days yesterday for Mason Graham. And maybe the first time we've actually seen Carson Schlesinger be human. I mean, 5th game of his rookie year. Took 5 games before, there was a misstep or 2 for Carson Swessinger. Still left with like 13 or 14 tackles. Offense yesterday, you ran with a rookie quarterback, rookie running back, a second rookie running back, a rookie tight end, a rookie wide receiver, a second-year wide receiver, another second-year wide receiver. The left tackle play was absolutely atrocious. KT Levinson, if I'm the Browns, I'm going to see if he can play guard. And I don't mean that negatively. I think he's a pretty damn good run blocker. I think he gets a little physical. I think he gets a little quick on the snap, all things that can sometimes get hidden on the inside. And I'm not sure if he has the overall athleticism to play on an island. But being that feisty in the run game, I'd be interested in seeing KT Levinson play a little guard. But you cannot get five penalties out of your left tackles. Absolutely inexcusable. Inexcusable in each and every way. I think everyone just forgets about the amount of youth that is out there on the offensive side of the ball. And yes, the offensive line played better yesterday. Certainly exampled by Quinshon Judkins' 100-yard day. Oh, yeah, one other thing. Where's Judkins? Quinshon Judkins is not part of the 2-minute offense. Jerome Ford is. How much more do you want Quinshon Judkins to do? 21 carries, 2 receptions. I mean, this isn't high school football where he's going to carry the ball 35 times. How much more do you want out of Quinshon Judkins in the 4th game of his rookie year? He doesn't play the 2-minute offense. He's not entitled to get a little bit of a break here. He had 21 carries. I don't know how much more people expect. Everybody's wondering where he is, not praising the fact that, he missed the entirety of training camp. And he has the highest rushing yards per game out of any rookie running back that was in the 2025 NFL draft. They're not going to run him into the ground in his rookie year. You're going to have some patience, guys. Because if it ain't Dylan Gabriel playing, it's most likely Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not sure you're going to get the same level of play that you got from Dylan Gabriel yesterday if you're playing Shedeur Sanders. You got rookies and second-year players everywhere on this offense as far as the skill positions are concerned. Your only holdovers, David Njoku, who certainly looked the part yesterday, and Jerry Jeudy, who kind of looks like the player that Denver was ready to give up on and traded to the Cleveland Browns. But after the day Dylan Gabriel had yesterday, I think more people should be feeling positive. Like, I have people that I see writing, Dylan Gabriel's story now for the rest of his career. He started 1 game in the NFL. And look, I told you all, I don't think he's going to be the answer. I think ideally Dylan Gabriel is going to be a long-term number 2 quarterback here for the Cleveland Browns. Not that there is anything wrong with that. And I think he'll be fully capable of coming in and, playing and hopefully leading this team when you need him. He is not the guy. He is the guy next to the guy. He's certainly going to have plenty of time to change our beliefs. And I think with each passing week, I think, Coach Stefanski is going to be willing, of course, to, along with Tommy Rees, give up a little more, give him a little bit more, give him a little more of the opportunity. But I guarantee you Dylan Gabriel was out there yesterday and was coached into, if you don't see it, believe it, it is not there. Don't throw it. throw it away. And all these things they told us about Dylan Gabriel when, they made the selection, his intelligence, his anticipation skills, whiteboard skills, video skills, blah, 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 blah. And what does that all that translate into? Not making mistakes. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball a bazillion times his last 2 years in college between Oklahoma and Oregon. Each season, he only threw 6 picks. He is going to be extremely smart with the football. He's not going to be careless. He's not going to be reckless with the football. He's going to be smart with the football. He was sacked, I believe it was 2 times for 8 yards. First one was 6 yards. Second one, Dylan did do an admirable job of, trying to turn something out of nothing. But, Dylan Gabriel is average NFL athleticism, maybe. But this team is vastly improving. It's going to take some time, but you've got a ton of rookie talent, second-year players, basically cutting their teeth with this franchise right now. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, with a rookie wide receiver, 2 second-year wide receivers out there trying to make their hay with a rookie quarterback. It's not the easiest thing to accomplish, man. Sure, it sucks to lose. And obviously, you guys as a fan base certainly been dealing with this for an extremely long amount of time. So I can get the frustrations, aggravations. I 100% do. But the fact that I am sitting here today and hearing that Coach Stefanski should be fired after Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good yesterday. Didn't cost you the game. Didn't have a turnover. Has played a game and 2 series to this point. And has already thrown more touchdown passes than Joe Flacco did in 4 games. But yet I'm hearing about how Kevin Stefanski, after yesterday, needs to go because Jim Schwartz's defense couldn't get a stop against Carson Wentz, 4 reserve offensive linemen, and no Aaron Jones. You think if Kevin Stefanski's job was on the line this year, the quarterback room they would have trotted out in the training camp with would have been Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders? You really think Kevin Stefanski said, that's the quarterback room? Absolutely. I'm going to bet my career here in Cleveland on a Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders quarterback room. Because his job's in jeopardy. Cam Robinson, yes, it was 2 penalties yesterday. And again, 5 penalties out of your left tackle position. Good Lord, shoot me now. Cam Robinson was actually good in his pass protection. I believe it was like 5 snaps, but graded out extremely well, almost perfectly. Cam Robinson will be your starting left tackle this week. A lot of questions as to why Cam Robinson didn't start last week. And I can understand the questions, absolutely. And I said if he was going to start, there would be a lot of, hey, Joe, hey, Joel, hey, Joel, hey, Joel. But I think with the way it broke down, by the time Cam Robinson got to town, quick practice Wednesday, get on the plane, get across the pond to England, and then a glorified walk through on Thursday. Friday is normally not anything more than that. So I think the Browns felt it was extremely difficult to get Cam Robinson coached up to start at left tackle in this game with just the way the week schedule went. And it makes sense, obviously, on a heavy travel week where you have to leave even earlier than you normally would for what is a home game again. And then factoring in time change, this, that, and the other thing. And, the teams, when they go over there, they're pretty good with their players about, trying to give them some time to maybe go absorb the culture a tad bit. So Cam Robinson will be your starting left tackle this week and going further. And I think with Joel having a pretty good day yesterday, Wyatt Taylor had a really, really rough day as a pass blocker. Rough. Jack Conklin, and to his credit, dinged up, battered, and who knows what was the percentage that Jack Conklin played at yesterday. But you saw that Jack Conklin was missed. And you saw that Jack Conklin is a vital part of this Browns offensive line still. Was good in pass pro, was solid in the run game. Quinshon Judkins, you could see in a couple of runs, Quinshon Judkins just essentially had blind faith in Jack Conklin, which you should. But if the guy's out there, he's got an all-pro resume, he's pretty damn good. It's definitely a weird dynamic between the Browns' offensive line and basically where the quarterback position is now and all the skill. Because you have like a median age average on the offensive line of like 31, if not higher. And you got a whole bunch of skill players. Fannon's 21, Bond's 21, Sampson's 21. They'll all be 21 this entire regular season. So you got an offensive line that's hanging on and not the collective group they once were where they were considered the best offensive line in the NFL. And honestly, probably too much young skill all trying to cut their teeth at the same time on the offensive side of the ball. The Browns could probably get away with all this youth on the offensive side of the ball if they had already had their established quarterback, franchise quarterback, say year 2, year 3. But you're breaking in all these kids together at the same time. And it's definitely giving you some rewards, but it's also certainly not easy to pull all this off. Yeah, 17 points ain't going to cut it in the NFL. There's no way around it. It's not enough. But do you want to get into another situation where it was like 2020, where it was, yay, made the playoffs? 21, stink. Or 23, yay, made the playoffs. Or 24, stunk even more. You want something that is sustainable. I think the defense is there for the most part. Minor move or two, but the defense is there. Offensively, you need the quarterback, and you need a little work on this offensive line. Probably a wide receiver. People talk about trading assets, this, that, and the other thing. It's way too early for that. Got a few weeks for that. This team is 1-4. If you want to really, really go at it, sure, there's a chance they could have been 3-2. I mean, I think that's the thing that sucks the most is when we probably all felt that there wasn't going to be a lot of wins this year. Losing that game to the Bengals week 1 certainly stings more than the Ravens loss in week 2. Losing to the Vikings yesterday probably certainly stings more than losing to the Detroit Lions the week before. But to think this team is not getting vastly improved and vastly improved to where it could be a staying thing, a year in, year out thing. You're just you're coming from your immediate aggravation from yesterday's game. You are not looking at the big picture. The Browns are improving. It's not turning into wins just yet, but it will be turning into wins very, very soon. I am Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate you all for the support here at the OBR. Head on over to the OBR.com. Make sure you look into the VIP package, insider forums, ask the insiders. Your subscription gets bundled with Paramount Plus. The OBR streaming network. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Twitch. Stick around 7 o'clock tonight. You'll get Pete Smith, Lane Atkins, and of course Barry McBride for the Gang of Three. Some final closing thoughts on yesterday, as Browns unfortunately came up short in a game they conceivably should have won against the Minnesota Vikings in London, England. This has been your daily delivery of all things dog pound. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. And we will talk to y'all tomorrow.